What's good? YouTube Catch These Facts back after, I don't know, a year. Guerrero here with Light Bright. So, we've been gone for what, a year? A lot of family stuff going on my side.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just a lot of stuff going on. But, quarantine, a lot of sports been shut down. But the one thing that looks like is on track to start right on time is our favorite sport, football. And what just happened a couple weeks ago? The draft. So, with that being said, let's uh let's start with let's just talk about this first round. We know Miami had 3 picks, made some good picks, but in your opinion, who had the best first round besides of all the multiple picks some teams had?
Man, surprisingly throughout the 2020 NFL draft, which, as everybody knows, was completely different. They did it all virtually, so that was a whole new game changer for us. We learned a lot more about these players than we have in past years about any players when it came to the draft. Like, they really dug in on these. But honestly, surprisingly, man, the team that had the best draft class, I'd have to give it to the Jacksonville Jaguars. They came through and made some picks, and a lot of people were doubting them when they made trades. When they let go of Jalen Ramsey and AJ Boye, Calais Campbell. People thought that they were on the decline, but man, in this draft, they really dug in and they didn't move up or move down. They just stuck to where they was at, and they really got a complete draft class. I really hate to say that, but man, they really got it done.
See, when it comes to the Jags, though, man, my thing is you named one of the players that just lost, Jalen Ramsey, but they didn't not in the first round at least, and there were some decent corners out there that I don't understand why they didn't pick that up. Like, I
They
know
did.
in the first round they went with a linebacker, and they went with
No,
Derek,
the Jag. No, no,
and they
no,
went
no,
with
no.
what's Derek Brown, man.
The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, because they got
That's like
Chase Young.
no. That's no, 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 no.
The Jags,
The
bro.
Car. No, 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 no. The Carolina Panthers selected Derek Brown. The Jacksonville Jaguars with their first overall pick, or with the seventh overall pick, was C.J.
Seven.
Henderson.
That's right. The
With the
Panthers had the seventh pick. That's who I realized went seven.
Yeah,
The
Derek Brown
Jags
went to
had
the
the ninth.
Carolina. Yeah, the Jags have the ninth, and they
Okay,
chose C.J.
I
Henderson.
messed up
They
my
they
order.
chose the corner. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I
No,
messed
no,
up
no,
my
no,
order.
bro.
And then they
Like
went
I'm
with a
I'm telling you.
linebacker. And then they got
No, no, yeah, and then they went with Kevlon. So they went with the ninth overall pick. They chose C.J. Henderson, the cornerback out of Florida, which he is. I'm not trying to compare him to Jalen Ramsey, but he is a good addition to replace him. He plays the same style of football. He's aggressive. He hits. He tackles. He does everything that Jalen did. You know what I'm saying? He's just going to need, to improve. He has the potential. And then, with their other, second pick in the first round, they went with Kevlon Chasen out of LSU, the linebacker, who's also an edge rusher too. On top of that,
yeah.
they
You don't think
definitely.
you don't think with but do you think CJ Henderson with that loss of speed from Ramsey is not going to play a big factor with a lot of these speeder receivers in the AFC alone? Like
Well, I
a lot
mean,
of the
you
speed
really, you
corners are
really,
in
you
the
really got to think
NFC.
about it though. At this point in time in the AFC South, we're really talking about what DeAndre Hopkins is no longer in the AFC South. He got traded by the Texans. You're looking at what T.Y. Hilton, who's, I mean, he's still semi-projected, but he's hitting his 30s now. I mean, yeah, the Colts made some moves to get him some help, and then you have the Titans, who have A.J. Brown. He's coming off a really good rookie season. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't really see the Titans do anything to add any more help to what they are trying to do, because, I mean, they signed Ryan Tannehill to a 4-year, 3-year extension, and then instead of actually signing Derrick Henry, who was the leading rusher, last season, they just franchise tagged him.
Yeah, but
And
I
we're talking
mean,
about Ryan
I,
Tannehill, who, I mean, I get it. Ryan Tannehill, he took them to the AFC Championship. If we look at past in Miami, he's been hurt. He didn't do all that great. But I'm just saying, a guy that you drafted from the beginning, and I mean, he's now putting up numbers. Yeah, but I don't know. But I mean, really, I think that what the Jaguars did, I mean, dude, if you just look down their draft class, they filled a lot of needs that they needed.
yeah, I guess so. I guess in a way they did. I just, you know, with the Ravens being in that same picture with them, it's really hard to kind of compete with, MVP Lamar Jackson, who in the past couple years has really improved his passing game on
Yeah.
top of how he runs. I mean, the playoffs did him no justice. He really didn't show much, which, I am a little shocked that the Ravens didn't really push for something bigger in the first round because what they traded out didn't they didn't have a first round pick this year.
No, they had a first round pick.
Yeah, but they went after a linebacker instead of getting a
Yeah,
little
they
more
got
help.
Patrick. They got Patrick Queen. They
Yeah,
needed it. They needed an inside linebacker. They lost C.J. Mosley last year.
yeah, but I don't know, man. It's just I think they needed probably a little more help on the line, on the offensive
What
line to
on the
get.
offensive line? On the offensive line, they established that. They literally all they had to replace was Marshall Yonda, who retired. They got a guard in the draft. They're fine.
Yeah, but I
They
mean,
still
they
they
they they waited till the
they're
next rounds. I'm
well,
talking about.
but I mean, but the way the draft was set up, though, I mean, there was a lot of good offensive linemen that what I'm saying weren't projected, to be first round, but there was still solid offensive linemen throughout the draft.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I mean, there was a lot of different because I mean, you got to think about it. Now in today's football, there's a lot of positionless players like like Isaiah Simmons, for instance.
yeah.
He played
He plays
he
linebacker.
played running back and linebacker in high school. You know what I'm saying? And then he went to college and he played linebacker,
Safety,
safety,
corner.
corner. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of NFL scouts were like, he's a positional player. We don't really know his like. And now in today's NFL, you see a lot of players like that. You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, like what's his name? God, there's a player that the Las Vegas Raiders selected. I think his name is Kellen something. I don't know. He's from Kentucky, and when he was at Kentucky, he played quarterback, running back, wide receiver. He's basically the next Taysom Hill. He's a fucking Army Swift knife.
Yeah,
He has all types of different things he can do. Like and now in today's age, who's to say like, oh, you're just a center. Why can't you move to right guard or left guard? You know what I'm saying? It's now in today's age they expect you to do that. They don't just want to stick you to one position. If you have the ability to do something better than that person in that position has, they're going to try you out at that because that opens up more creative holes and better opportunities for the team as a whole.
yeah. I don't know, man. The team that I think who really wanted to pay, who really kind of realized what they needed to do and what they needed to fix, whether it be because they're hunting for a team they lost to late in the season, or they just knew that, well, if we add on to this, it'll help out, is San Francisco.
Mm, I feel that San Francisco did. And that was hard though because I didn't really want to like. Man, I felt what San Francisco did. They definitely put themselves to go right back in the hunt and play Kansas City in that Super Bowl again.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Because
they
I mean
traded
that
they
first pick they had two
yeah,
picks.
I
That
mean
first pick
they
they
replaced them.
completely No, that
They
first
they
pick
replaced them.
they completely ignored the fact that they had these two great receivers out there. CeeDee Lamb was on the board, Jerry Jeudy was on the board. They didn't even get one of those guys. They went straight to Kinlaw, the defensive tackle. They're adding more pressure to any quarterback they go up against with that defensive line they got.
Well, yeah, because I mean, like you heard in recent past, a lot of people are going off of defense wins championships, and sometimes that's proven true.
Yeah.
Sometimes that is proven true. If you look back at when the Ravens played the 49ers, was it all strictly offense? No. Was it defense? Yes. If you look back at when the Denver Broncos won their Super Bowl in 2015, that was all defense. Peyton Manning had one of his worst games in that Super Bowl. He threw like what, 2, 3 interceptions in that Super Bowl and still won NFL MVP? Or still won Super Bowl MVP?
You know, when you talk about defense wins championships, I think of that Patriot Seahawk game where they should have ran the ball at the end, but chose to pass it with Russell Wilson, and then Butler
Exactly, and
made that
Malcolm
interception.
Butler.
I
And
mean
that's what set off his
that
career.
was like rookies making plays and defense and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think San Francisco really, because I mean, who did they lose at receiver?
Emmanuel Sanders, and
Yeah,
he signed with the Saints on a 2-year deal.
and they went
But
out
I
and
do
got
believe
they went out and
I
picked up what's his name, kid Brandon something.
Brandon Ayoka
I think that's his. I don't know how to say his
out
name.
of
I'm not gonna.
Arizona State. I think it was Brandon
Yeah,
Ayoka.
I
Brandon
ain't trying to
Ayoka. Yeah,
butcher
yeah.
that name, but they,
It's
they
Brandon Ayoka. I think is who they ended up going with in the second
yeah,
round.
I think they were more
So I mean,
concentrated on that defensive side with their first pick, and then they looked at, okay, now we got another pick. Let's look at getting a receiver.
I mean, that was honestly like a win-win situation for him,
Yeah,
because
I
I
think they
mean,
made the best with
either
their two picks, and they obviously are looking because, like I said, team they lost to happened to be the Chiefs, which, maybe if they put more pressure on Patrick Mahomes, maybe that wasp play wouldn't have happened at 7 minutes in the fourth
yeah,
quarter that really just sprung us forward. Who knows? That's a question that will always be asked. Like, if they put more pressure, would it change, or would it just left someone more open? I don't know. But it looks like that's what they're looking to really focus on this year is just pressure on every quarterback possible. I mean, you got Nick Bosa, who was a monster this year, who's
yeah,
just gonna be even better. Then you add on Kinlaw to help with that inside of the line to really break up and cause quarterbacks to maybe go out to the edge. And that's where Nick Bosa thrives. I mean, nobody could really block him this year as it was. So
yeah.
it'll be something, man. It'll definitely be something. But so with that being said, let's talk about who you think is out of the 32 players in the first round, who got drafted into the best situation, like team that they could have played anywhere else, but in the situation they got drafted into, based on the scheme and the way the player plays, who do you think who has the best situation hands down? Like they couldn't have gotten drafted by a better scheme or team to play on.
Whew, man, wow, we're into that convo. Well, man, I'm gonna have to say honestly, as much as I'd have to say, I think CeeDee Lamb got drafted into probably the best situation that he could possibly be in. Only because, I mean, if you look at it, the offense now is stacked with weapons now. I mean, you have Amari Cooper, you have CeeDee Lamb, you have Michael Gallup, you have, Ezekiel Elliott, you have, Dak Prescott, who is, now playing on a, franchise tag.
Yeah,
But I
but with
think
that being
with,
said, though, like you just pointed out, the biggest question when it comes to Dallas is they also went out and picked up Andy Dalton. I mean, like, what's the quarterback situation? Who is CeeDee Lamb gonna have throwing to him in the long run? I mean, he might have
I'm
Dak this
telling
year.
you,
He might not.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you, and I hate to fucking say it. Everybody, if you look at the numbers that Dak put up last year, Dak didn't have a season by any means.
No, no, not at all.
Did they go and do anything big? No. But Dak had a great season. I think now with the addition of CeeDee Lamb, it's more of, and with them bringing in Andy Dalton, I think it's just more of lighting a fire underneath Dak Prescott's ass. I solely do believe that the Cowboys do believe in Dak because I mean, if you think about it, Dak has done everything and anything that he's been asked of. He's put up the numbers. Has he produced of a Super Bowl run? No, but has he produced playoff runs? Yes, he has. Has he won a couple playoff games? Yes, he has. If you think about it, he's done just as much as Tony Romo did in Tony Romo's whole entire career in just his 4 years that he's been with the Cowboys.
Do you think it's a make it break it year for Dak though?
It's exactly a make it break it year for Dak because they franchise tagged him.
And
I
so this
mean,
is giving them CD Lamb is probably
but my thing is though is that when it comes with the Cowboys is that they literally paid a man and made him the highest paid running back who's literally had nothing but off the field issues for them over the past couple of years since he's been in the league. When's the last time you've heard Dak be in any type of controversy whatsoever?
yeah, but
Never.
it's also look at the team you're talking about. The Cowboys have
Yeah,
always been
and I
known of
mean I
getting
get
teams
that.
with
I
players
get
with
that.
off the field
But
issues.
I think now I think it was kind of when it came to CeeDee Lamb because we all know back in the day Jerry Jones had the chance to draft Randy Moss and he passed on him. He's regretted that ever since.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
really think that this time he was going to pass on a receiver like that? He's only done this twice. He took a chance on Des Bryant, and now he's taking a chance on CeeDee Lamb, which in fact, people, if you haven't noticed, CeeDee Lamb chose the number 88. X Factor. Don't know about Joe, but it seems like he's trying to live up to something.
Those are some big names to live up to though.
That is some big names to live up to, but he did it. And honestly, with the way that with what the Cowboys did, they literally set themselves up to give Dak a run. I mean, they went CeeDee Lamb in the first round. The second round, they went with Trayvon Diggs, Stephon Diggs' brother, who came out of Alabama. He's not bad. Wouldn't say he was, one of the highest rated cornerbacks, and I mean he was probably in the top five, you know what I'm saying, of cornerbacks that were out there, but he fell. And then right after that, they went and got a whole nother defensive tackle, which, if you think about it, now they're loaded at defensive tackle because they signed Gerald McCoy, Dante Poe, and then they drafted a whole nother defensive tackle out of OU. You know what I'm saying? Or no, not out of OU, OSU, Ohio State. What's his name? Devon Hamilton. I mean, they're prepared to hit you. You know what I'm saying? Like they did their thing.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. In my opinion, and maybe I don't know, maybe I'm biased, but LSU running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire, bro. Who better to play under than the man who coached Brian Westbrook and the way he plays too.
Yeah.
I mean, and
I
then
don't
you
know
got
if I would. I don't know if I'd
I think
compare him
that's
to
the
Brian
I
Westbrook,
don't know.
but
You got
I
Andy
mean,
Reid. You got Andy Reid saying he's better than Brian Westbrook, and this is the man who coached Brian Westbrook throughout his career, and this man says that he's better. He believes he could be better. And then Hilaire basically went in the best situation because he can run the ball, but he can also catch the ball, which we all know Andy Reid loves having running backs that can play both ways, either run the ball, catch the ball, receiving back, whatever. But
yeah,
but then you got to think about not only does that fit Edwards Hilaire's play style, but then you think about the team he's on that retained 20 out of 22 starters from the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going into a team that basically lost nobody. You're gonna be on a rookie contract for the next 4 years, so you don't
Yeah, but
nobody's gotta worry about it.
wasn't there a little scandal on one of the Chiefs players? What's his name? Brashad Breeland. Didn't he just get arrested not
Yeah,
too long ago?
yeah, but honestly,
But
that
I feel you
I'm not
though.
a big
Yeah, yeah,
fan of. He's kind of an up and down corner. He has good games, he has bad games. He's not consistent.
yeah.
You know, we did lose Kendall Fuller, which that sucked, but you know, we looked into that. We drafted a corner late in the draft, unfortunately. But I
Yeah.
mean, we also like picked up that Willie something linebacker, fast guy,
Oh, Willie Gay Jr.
Willie Gay Jr. I wanted to say something different, but I knew it wasn't right. I knew his first name was Willie.
Yeah,
But I just
yeah,
think,
Willie Gay Jr.
the Chiefs. Everybody had said it. The Chiefs kind of were in a situation where it didn't really matter who they drafted. It was kind of just whoever you want. And there was still Swift was on the board. They didn't go after him,
Yeah.
who was arguably the best running back going into this draft. Everybody was thinking he'd be the first back off the board. And then you got the Chiefs, who a lot of people had assumed would pick up a running back or look into a corner position. And
Mm.
but a lot of people thought, nobody's gone for a running back in the first round very often
Mhm.
these past few years. And then they go and pick up a guy that no one was talking about.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah.
No, I mean, people had known about him, but no one was mentioning him to go in the first round. Like he wasn't the top three. They had DeAndre Swift. They had the kid from that was injured. What's his name?
Jonathan Taylor from
Taylor.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, and then there was
J.K. Dobbins at Ohio State
Dobbins
who
was
went
another
to.
one.
In
You know,
which J.K. Dobbins actually went to a good situation too, because
yeah,
he went to the Baltimore Ravens.
who already
You
had
know what I'm
Mark
saying?
Ingram and everything. So I
Yeah,
mean,
but you got to think about it though. They really only got J.K. Dobbins to make sure that Mark Ingram is healthy when it comes to playoff time, because when
he
it
was
came
ran
to
like
the
a dog.
playoffs,
Yeah,
he was hurt. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't 100%. So I mean, J.K. Dobbins definitely got put into a good situation too. If we're talking about running back wise, I
yeah.
mean, he definitely got put into a situation where he can run and gun and power run and do
Yeah,
what the Ravens do or what they did last year.
that's true. But all right, YouTube, that's what we got so far. We'll be back with another topic where we're going to think about who'll have the best career out of the first round and who probably is a flop out of this first round. So we'll come back and we'll discuss that. Um, Don Mega Black Magic couldn't be with us on this coming back video. Like I said, all of us have had some uh, extenuating circumstances. Let's put it that way. And things happen. But we'll be back and we'll talk about who will have the best career and who won't.